Hello. Well, I think I'm live. I think I'm public. And I hope you can see me. Ah, there he is. Hey, Steve. How's the volume so far on here? All right, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know if you can hear it or you can see it behind me. It is still rainy season. Hi, Marina. Where are you from? Okay, good. I'm backlit. Good. But yeah, this is the best I can do. It's raining, and I know you probably see just more of a shadow of my face, but hopefully that gets better. Yeah. Hello, my friend Alyssa. Well, hello, Maryland, the place with the best crabs. I was there 2 years ago at a wedding. Yeah. All right. So far, wow, we got about 7 in here already. So that's great. And oh, yeah, exactly. That's crabs. Well, I want to give a shout out to Steve, who's in there already. We did a test run on live because I had some problems last time, and hopefully I figured it out. But just to let you know, it is raining right now. And so if something happens and the internet goes out, I will jump on my phone and I will go live from there. So stay tuned. Yeah. So Marina's moving to Hua Hin in April. Wow, that was one of those things that was on our list. Well, actually, it was Jomtien before we decided on Chiang Mai. But I just recently watched some amazing videos on Hua Hin. And there's so many different parts of it. People think of the touristy part of it, but there's other parts where you can be more isolated and out of the tourist zone. And 31 days to I see my friends, Alyssa and Steve. That's amazing. We're looking forward to it. Yeah. So I just want to start by saying thank you for being here. Oh, my friend Shannon Kane. Yeah. So Shannon was, my wife just said, now it's a party because Shannon Kane is here. But man, I lost my thoughts. Oh yeah. So, so if you're just joining me on this journey, we moved here in 2023. I retired after 26 years in law enforcement, and I've been back a few times to the United States, but right now, Dana and I consider this to be home. Yeah. Yep. And I think, you know, as time goes on, we may try some other places too, but right now, this looks like where we're going to be at. I know Marina said that the burning season here scares her, and that's understandable. Our first burning season here was really harsh. We stuck around. The second season was not so bad, but we have a lot of expats in our community that they just go away for 2 months, you know. And I think next year, next burning year, we're going to go down to the beaches for a little while, see what happens. Yeah. But Chiang Mai is indeed a good base. And we've gone from here to, I went from here to Patong to do, oh, what was it? The water festival. I'm going blank. Not Lockworthon. What is it, Dana? Songkran. So I did Songkran down in Patong. We've flown to Malaysia from Chiang Mai. We've flown to Siem Reap, Cambodia from here in Chiang Mai. So it is indeed a good base. Yeah. Yeah, Jeanette, burning season can be a problem for people, especially if you have any kind of respiratory issues. And, you know, but by the same token, I did a video on Vivo Beni, and which is a retirement resort, but people stay there year round. They do have tremendous air systems to help with any kind of bad air getting in there. So people do survive it, you know, and I think the government's doing some things to really help out with it as well. So, yeah. Yeah, the crop burning to get the fields ready for planting. And I've heard different things on how the government is approaching it, as far as, you know, trying to get them to find another way to do this, like tilling, maybe. And also they have drones that are flying over and seeing where people are burning and shouldn't be burning in some instances. So I think they really put a big dent in it this past burning season. Yeah. Flooding is still happening here. When I say here, in parts of Chiang Mai, it's not Mae Rim, but up in that area there's some flooding going on. But my 2 years here in Dorset, only flooding I've seen is the main road 118 that is partially flooded sometimes. But as far as us being flooded in our yard, being not able to get out, Dorset is a good place to settle if you want to avoid flooding. It is green, lots of trees, lots of plants. The dam is up here. I just think the water's handled a lot more here. The Ping River so far this rainy season, I haven't heard anything on the Ping River, knock on wood, for those who live there. Yeah, thank you for the question about the flooding. Yeah. You know, one of the things I wanted to bring up, you know, I've done a video on the cost of living. One of the things people don't think of, give you an example. So right now, our rent here, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, is 18,000 baht. Now, when I arrived here, I want to say that the baht was 37 to 1, and now it's like 31.8 to 1 US dollar. That's what I mean, 1 US dollar. So I just did a conversion rate, and so now my rent in US dollars is $564. So things do change, and you have to keep that in mind when you're thinking about a budget. So Alan asked about moving to Hua Hin, and would I recommend Amanda as Settled in Abroad? I think she's good to go, and I know she does Thailand. I know she does Thailand everywhere in Thailand, not just Chiang Mai. And also, you know, I would look at some places down in Hua Hin too. You know, that way they're right there on the base. But Amanda, like I said, she did us justice when it came to that. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go visit you folks going down there to Hua Hin. Our neighbors went down there the last 2 years, but they live about 20 minutes from city. They stayed about 20 minutes from city center. And so we may head that way. Yeah. The cost of living, like I said, I look around, when I look at the news, inflation and everything's going up. One of the things that why I couldn't live in the United States right now is because coffee is up 21%. So that will be a problem in itself. And I joke about it, but you know, the conversion rate of the dollar is not as good as it once was, but that'll change. It'll go full circle, the boomerang effect, it'll come back. But inflation itself hasn't hit us so hard that we are feeling it, like a lot of people in a lot of the Western countries are doing. So, you know, I still go get a cup of coffee for $1. You know, I'll go to a fancy coffee shop. That cup of coffee is $2. And so very happy with the cost of living here. No, Alan, that's a good point. And that way nothing gets lost in translation. Alan said he just thinks it's nice to have someone who could speak in English fluently. You're right, because you don't want anything lost in translation. And if anyone on here that knows anyone that does visas in the Hua Hin area that maybe speaks English and has a good reputation, please feel free to drop it in the comments as well. Yeah. Yeah, the prices here, you made the right move for the price is here in the States are suffocating. Yeah. And it doesn't look like things are getting better. You know, I'm not trying to project anything, but you know, you just see things and people struggling to make ends meet, you know, so it can be tough. So Jeanette is asking, how much scouting for a location do folks do in advance? Like how long a visit should one make of searching for a good quality of life and lower cost of living? Like anywhere, things can change quickly, you know, so I wouldn't do anything 2 years out, 3 years out. I think, and I don't think Steve and Alyssa mind me saying this, but when they come in 31 days, they're going to do some scouting as far as not looking at a house right away, but looking at what location they want to live in. So I will come and try to figure out what the location you want to live in may be, because houses rent fast. There's no way, even 6 months from now, you know, I would come here. If you figure out, even if you don't do any advanced, you know, scouting about where you want to live, if you get here and you say, I'm going to be here for a month, and there's realtors, I've done some stuff with Alice, some of her rentals, but they'll be able to take you around and figure out what spot is good for you. Yeah. Yeah, I think 1 month or 2 months to really figure out. And I didn't do that. We came here, we settled in, we put an ad on Facebook. Our landlord came and picked us up and took us and showed us around the village. We asked all the right questions about the flooding. The smoking season I already knew about because I did my research, but we're glad we're landed in this village. But please do your homework because a lot of people come here and they turn back around too. Yeah. And I like what Alyssa brought out. They're going to be on vacation, but they're doing a balance of everyday life along with just enjoying the vacation. So, you know, what she means by that is visit the pharmacies. You know, do they have the medications you may need when you come over here? The grocery stores, you know, transportation. There are places here, and I may do a video on it, but I mentioned in a previous video about car rentals. You can rent a car long-term here for less than what you would pay to buy one back in the States. I've seen cars for the equivalent of $300 a month here. These are brand new cars too, maybe a year or two old. So you have a lot of options when it comes to transportation as well. Yeah. Yeah, and Steve is right. There's a lot of research. You know, I probably didn't do it. I did a lot of research on Facebook. I got into some of the Facebook groups. I DM'd some people who had been here a long time, and I did video calls with them and asked a lot of questions and took a lot of notes before we landed here. So, yeah. I like Roy. A friend of mine has put tape to create a pickleball court on his tennis court in his condo. That sounds like the good life. I am a pickleball fanatic. I probably play 3 days a week here. I was playing 5, but I had to avoid injury for a while. Yeah. Oh, I see Robert McGregor's name on here. Robert, good morning. Robert is, if you've been following me for a while, Robert is the school teacher that that I interviewed on my channel, and we become friends. And almost every Saturday we go and we have coffee and we solve all the world's problems. So yeah, good times. Yeah. And I tell you folks, if one of the things you're worried about is community, you know, I did a video on Payap University. They have so many classes going on there. I did my pickleball community, which spread out to Pickleball Social Club. Pickleball, there's 5 guys that we go riding our motorbikes up in the mountains, have coffee, and just, you know, just have a good time. So anything you want to do as far as if it's knitting, crochet, a book club, almost anything is available to you to do here. There's Facebook group in Chiang Mai for almost anything that you're interested in. So yeah. Yep, Alyssa, there is amazing community here in Chiang Mai. Like I say, go do searches. Even in the States, you can just put whatever, but Hua Hin, Bangkok, you know, walking groups in Bangkok or Chiang Mai, you know, so it's going to be there for you. Yeah, it's going to happen fast, Alyssa, as far as the building of community. Once you get boots on the ground here, we have a Sunday coffee group here also. We have people from all over the world, United States, the Netherlands, France, India, and Australia. I can go on and on. So uh, all English speaking group that we meet up, and it's just a good time. And from there, we have dinners at the Palms restaurant here in this village that we live in. Yeah, yeah. But I was asked recently, do I have any complaints here? I really don't. And it's not because I'm this extreme optimist, which to a degree I am, but I focus on the good here. Um, my only thing that bothers me still is the traffic. There's nothing I can do about it. I've learned to adjust to it and just be hyper vigilant in a sense to make sure that nothing happens. But I really think I'm living my best life here. Yeah. Um, if you're not familiar with the rental process here, I know so many YouTubers have done it. Folks, it has never been easier. I even talked about the video about give yourself credit here in Chiang Mai. People fall on hard times, and people are really falling on hard times in a lot of Western societies. But you come over here with first, last, and your deposit and your suitcase. In a lot of cases, you can move in the same day, if not the next day. You don't have to worry about, in a lot of instances, you don't have to worry about furniture. The majority of the places are furnished. And so, I mean, I'm still in awe of what's available here. Even with prices going up a little bit on rentals, the two houses that I covered, I don't know, 24,000 baht, $739, somewhere around there. I mean, what is that going to get you where you live? So something to think about. Yeah. I've gotten used to the rainy season. We just dodge it when we go out. We do stuff mostly in the mornings, and then I work on editing in the afternoon or take a long nap or do some reading. And sometimes we meet friends out for dinner. So you just work around things. Alyssa, that's a good way to put it. Think about it. Currently, the US dollar goes at least 30 times as far in Thailand, and the prices are even cheaper. The restaurant that I did, Cluck restaurant, maybe 2 weeks ago, last week, even I'm finding even Western food is cheaper over here in most cases, which kind of blew me away. I mean, I don't eat at Taco Bell. I don't eat at Burger King here, but I walked in because I was thinking about doing a video on it, and I saw where you get a Whopper with cheese, fries, a meal, still for 189 baht, which is less than $6. Which in most, if I got it wrong, let me know. But in most states in the United States, you're not going to find a meal under $10 at a fast food restaurant. Yeah. Let's see. Any questions for me? No, Roy, I agree. There's been a lot less rain this year in Pattaya, only an occasional cloudburst. I've watched the news on that. Here in Chiang Mai, I think we've had more rain, or at least longer. They last. Like right now, it's still raining. I think it started raining at 6:30, and now it's almost 8 o'clock. And so I think the rain is lasting longer. If Robert, if you're still on here, if you want to chime in on that, because he lives not far from me, in the Sansai area. So yeah. What was the one thing since you've been there that has changed your life the most? Thank you for the question, Alyssa. Um, I think not waking up to noise, you know, not waking up to being retired, waking up, going to work. One of the first things I did in the morning was turn on the police radio and see what was going on so I'd be prepared when I went out there. Um, But just not seeing the news, I think my nervous system calming down and walking outside and seeing my beautiful yard that's all green. I think the biggest thing is 2 years later, folks, I still have not had an incident of road rage or seen an incident of road rage happen. And I ride a lot. I ride almost every day. So I think just your interactions with people that are not carrying a lot of stress like they are in some Western countries, I think that has been very impactful. Now, Sweetie Ice, what about earthquakes? Now, I hadn't really heard about earthquakes before I moved over here. And the one that I know of, they say there has been another, was Myanmar. I believe it happened. Bangkok got hit the hardest when it comes to Thailand, which I don't know how it bypassed Chiang Mai and hit Bangkok. Our house swayed a little bit, but that was pretty much the extent of it. So, Steve, what do I suggest for people? What people suggest? What would you suggest people do for learning to ride a scooter? Rent at first or buy an inexpensive one? I would definitely rent. And before I even rented, and this is not sponsored, but the Honda driving school is where my wife went to learn how to ride, and she speaks highly of it. So I would suggest, not doing it on your own, especially in this traffic out here, folks. Learn. And even then, Dana did a lot of practice in our village where there's less traffic before she's got on the highway. So, and even, some people rent long term because the place takes care of the oil changes and stuff. I decided to buy because I got what I wanted and it's done and it's in my name. But there's a couple ways to do it. Yeah. So Bali's having some flooding. Okay. Yeah. I know there's some typhoons that have passed over here. Got a friend, Hilcia, she's in Hong Kong. And I think 2 bad storms just passed by her when she landed a couple of days ago. All right. What would you have done differently if you could? I was thinking of Mexico since it's close to home now. And if things went sideways, I could always turn back. I'm sure it's fear of the unknown. Yeah. I spoke of this, that Ecuador was our first choice, but then things went south there, and I had spent some time in Vietnam and I fell in love in 2018. I fell in love with this side of the world, but I don't think I would have done anything differently. I'm happy being here. I don't like being this far away from my mother, but and if for whatever reason I wanted to get closer to home, be closer to family, it would still be maybe Mexico. And I know people think of danger, cartel, but there are some safe places still in Mexico. If Portugal, which I know it's not close to the United States, that's still Europe. But there's other choices. Peru, and probably if we didn't have Michonne, our dog, which I'm glad we do, we would have probably been slow travelers and just traveled around. But no regrets. I'm loving the life there is. Yeah. No, Alyssa, thank you. And I'm really glad that we're starting to build this community up. It's exactly what I wanted to do. And look, things aren't perfect. I don't know everything. Being here 2 years, there's people have been here longer than me, but I'm still learning, All right, Shannon. We will talk to you soon. Good night, and thank you for dropping in. I appreciate it. Yeah. So Shannon has a YouTube channel called It's Just My Nature. She does wonders with fruits and vegetables, and she's a florist. And so you could check out her channel as well. It's Just My Nature. Yeah. Yeah, Panama is easy for visas. And that was on our list very, very early in it. But I don't know, the cost of living seemed to start going up there in Panama. And watching some of the channels, and I don't know this because I haven't done boots on the ground there in Panama, but I hear words like gentrified being used there, that it's not as authentic most places, which, either here or there, but I would still put boots on the ground and check it out, Yeah. I have the equivalent of a yellow fly. flying around me trying to sting me. Yeah. Thanks, Shannon. Yeah. So Alyssa, there's no riding on the back of a motorbike for you, huh? Oh man. I tell you, one of the things I learned here, and we're headed to that season, Thailand has so many holidays, you know, and I tell you what, it is just wonderful to walk into an event that they're having here, and just see all the families together. October, November, December is my favorite time of the year here. The weather is so much cooler, so much better. The flower festival, there's two big flower festivals that I know of. So much to do. And I'm going to take you all there, upcoming videos. Yeah. Hey, Singh, good morning. It's good to wake up to you. So Singh, him and his wife, they are the owners of BYC Pickleball. And that's where I picked up pickleball, and that's where I picked up my community there. So I got Steve coming in 31 days, and we're going to get him into pickleball. But it's a lot of fun, meeting a lot of people. And I appreciate you waking up with us. Alyssa, you'll have your motorbike license before you know it. Yeah, so Roy says Vietnam is becoming more popular, especially Da Nang. Have to leave the country every 3 months, though. And I just watched several videos on Da Nang specifically in the last couple of days. Unfortunately, Da Nang is a beautiful beach town. My wife and I, we stopped there on our way to Thailand. And it was on my retirement list at one time also. But Da Nang it's like, I want to say January, February, it's kind of smoky there as well. Kind of cold as far as being at the beach. They have a strong 3-month rainy season. And right now, they say a retirement visa is coming. But right now, you're right. You do have to leave every 3 months in order to stay there long term. Yeah. Yeah, Jeanette, you're going to really, really love these festivals. And the people are so kind. I tell you what, I have never went to any festival that I felt unwelcome. Never, since I've been here. We were invited to a school graduation when we first arrived here, maybe the first week. And they moved us to the front to sit and watch the kids, graduate. I think the monks gave them gifts, Was it scholarship, Dana, that the monks gave them? Do you know what that was? Okay, Dana's out of pocket. But yeah, so we've always been invited to stuff, and we may not fully understand what's going on there, but we've always felt welcome. Yeah, Marina, I've watched some of the videos. Her statement is that she heard Hua Hin get some of the burning season. The smoke does make its way down there. It's definitely not as bad as it is up here. So yeah. All right. The journey. Hey, now were you the one that sent me the email? And it's good to see you as well. Yep. So other than that, I got myself some notes over here that I'm looking at between. Folks, I did a video about, do I feel safe in Chiang Mai? The answer is still yes. I feel very safe. I'm here in Chiang Mai. No regrets. I mean, that's if I was to say it's the top thing that I really appreciate, which says a lot, is really the safety here, that Dana can go out and just enjoy life, and me not worry about her. So the question is, do I have any bouts with homesickness? I miss my family. I do miss friends that, I spent 26 years working with at the department, and other friends I met, school teachers. I've worked in the schools as a school resource deputy. I miss that part of it. But here's the thing, and this is not a jab at the United States at all. People ask the question, when are you coming home? And, to me, you go home after you leave vacation. I'm no longer on vacation. So this is, I consider my home, I'm still a citizen of the United States, and I will keep my citizenship, you know. But this is my home, and this is what I call home. When I was leaving the United States, you know, I remember talking to my wife on the phone saying, I'm looking forward to getting home. I told people when I was leaving, hey, I'm headed back home, you know. And it's just that it's a mind shift where, you know, you have to tell yourself, this is where I'm at, you know. So, yeah. What else? Yeah, along with the safety thing right here, folks, with everything that's happening, you know, I might catch some flack for this, and that's fine too. It feels good to be 2 years removed from carrying a gun, from having guns in my house, you know. I didn't know how I would respond to, you know, when you do this for almost 30 years and you've had guns your whole life, but I don't miss it. I don't feel I need a gun over here. You know, I've never been in a situation where I felt that I needed a gun. I've never felt threatened by anyone looking at me a certain way that I would need a gun. And so that part of it, you know, it feels good, to be honest with you. And I think we normalize things, you know. I prepared for home invasions. You know, I lived in a nice middle class neighborhood, but I've seen what happened to people. I've seen the evil that people can do. So I always prepared. But just to be able to relax, I mean, this is priceless to me. Yeah. So, looking to see if you have any more questions before I move on to that. Addressing questions about crime, scams, and daily life safety. I mentioned, I just touched on that right there. You know, there's no place that's perfect. You know, I think most of your crimes that you're going to have here in Chiang Mai are going to be maybe within the city, and you don't hear about a lot. I don't even want to say Chiang Mai. Bangkok is what I've heard about as far as pickpockets that happen sometimes. We're in a big city feel, but I can't really say what kind of crimes that are going on here in Chiang Mai that affects us as expats, so to speak. But the same thing with scams. You know, a lot of the scams happen, and if Sing is on here, if you want to jump in here because you've lived here a long time, but a lot of the scams are phone scams that people fall into, you know, and if they have called me and tried to scam me, I haven't understood what they were trying to do. So I haven't had any problems with that. You know, you may go into town in Chiang Mai and a ride that maybe should be 100 baht, you may get charged 150, 200 baht for. You know, the longer I live here, they're not joke about it sometimes. You know, we were overpriced for that tuk-tuk ride, but we were overpriced by what, $1, $2. So yeah, I'll take it every time. Yep. I'm just reading right here. Traded firepower for pickle power. That's right. I turned in my gun for a pickle paddle, so to speak. Now, what else was there? So I mentioned that we went to Siem Reap, and we've been to Malaysia, been to Vietnam. We're going to visit some other places, folks. We loved Kuala Lumpur, we loved Siem Reap, but we were ready to come home, and I really consider Chiang Mai to be our home there. Yeah. They want to talk to you about your car's extended warranty and tie, though. That's hilarious. Hey, Randy. Okay, so Randy's asking about the Chiang Mai. There's a lot of pickpocket type scams. Not that I've heard of. I think here a lot of times crimes are crimes of opportunity, you know. But with that said, I have left my phone on my motorbike and forgot it until I finished eating lunch, an hour here, hour there. I've had something fall out of my man bag, you know, on the ground, and someone pick it up and come and run and chase me and, hey, you dropped this right here. So I've never had a problem with I don't know, being scammed or taken advantage of. Oh, uh, yeah, Liz, I do consider Thailand home. And like I said, it is a shift in mindset. Yeah. You know, this is a good point where the friend insisted on going with me in October to make sure I would be safe. You know, fear, and I talked about this before, but man, fear will stop you from pursuing your dreams. It will make you stay in a bubble, you know. And trust me, I did a lot of research on the safety of Thailand in general, and specifically Chiang Mai before I moved here. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't move to Ecuador, specifically Cuenca, because I saw a rise in crime happening in real time. So that right there was number one on my list was safety. And Marina brings out a good point because um, my wife and I, we have met a lot of female solo travelers coming here, you know, by themselves, a lot. And none of them, as I talked to them, have reported feeling unsafe. Uh, the one lady brought out that she's walked after, she's a young lady, I think she was 25, but you know, she said, yeah, sometimes, you know, I probably shouldn't do it, but I walk from a karaoke bar at, you know, 1 o'clock in the morning and I feel safe. But I think overall, once you get here and you land, you will feel how safe it is. Not to say you don't always want to be self-aware and aware of your surroundings, but yeah, a lot better. There you go. So, ha, how's your pickleball world tour doing? I would never make it to the Olympics, but I'm having a good time. And you know, it's funny. That is right now, we go from 9 o'clock in the morning to 12 noon. And that right there is 90 baht, you know. And so for $3, it's not just about the exercise, but you get to interact with people and just enjoy. I was saying on my Facebook page that I met a guy who left Illinois when he was 23 years old, graduated college. He moved to Japan, um, originally from Illinois, like I mentioned. He's worked at the same university for 43 years. Next month, he turns 70 and he has to retire because of their age restrictions. But he say he's gone back once in the last 13 years to Illinois. He says he doesn't recognize it anymore. He's happily married in Japan and he just loves his life. And so you meet so many interesting people and the bike stories they have here. Um, Almost like story time every day when you meet people. Yeah. And you're right. It is good exercise and good social activity, you know. And BYC Pickleball, I'm not just trying to plug them, but it's not just a place to go play pickleball. It really is a place where you meet people and you build a community at. And the owners there are very, very nice. Um, I took, I knew nothing about pickleball, so I was coached for 2 hours and I fell in love with it. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Carl. Your nature sounds in the back are really great. I'm going to see if I could turn this around a little bit, but that is our front yard right there. So we got banana trees. We got banana trees. We got jackfruit. What else we have, Dana? Banana trees, jackfruit, mangoes, limes, dragon fruit. She says a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. So I'm telling you, this is like I wake up to nature every single day. And not only that, we sit out here on the porch sometime and we can hear the monks at the temple chanting, you know. And I just sit out here with my cup of coffee and enjoy this thing called life. That's a good point. Safety starts with you. You're absolutely right, you know. And you have to keep your head up and pay attention to surroundings. Roy says daughter's going to Guatemala for Christmas, New Year. She intends to stay in Lake. Oh, I know where that's at. Adeline, it's beautiful area. Yeah, there's a nice expat community there also. Vagabond Abroad, their YouTube channel, they covered that extensively. Good area. Marina, do you get critters in your house? So our house is now about 3 years old. It's a new house. um, we don't have we get ants once in a while. And what is that, Dana? He's a gecko. So we have geckos inside here, and they chirp. They chirp. And so we have this one gecko that's been here for a few months, and we named him Winston Chirphill. So those are the only critters we get in our house. We have a screen, a magnetic screen divider on our door where our dog can go in and out. We leave the door open all the time. No snakes come in, nothing like that. So we've had no problems. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen snakes on some of my walks, but mostly the green snakes. And I know here in Chiang Mai they have cobras and things that they do have poisonous snakes here, but I've yet to have an encounter. Um, some homes, I have friends here who have ran into scorpions. One guy said he has to check his bed before he goes to bed because of scorpions. Never had scorpions on our porch, in our house, none of that. I still check my shoes all the time. And we do have house spiders that make their way in there, but nothing dangerous. I'm with you, Marina. There's a song that says, I don't like spiders and snakes. Yeah. Yeah, the geckos are everywhere, but they can save you 15% or more on your car insurance. So, uh, so we transferred from the retirement visa to the DTV visa. And there's people who have struggled with the DTV visa. So far, we had no problem with it. It's a 5-year visa. But I found out a little later on, it's really not considered a retirement visa. It's considered a long-term tourist visa. So just be careful and ask a lot of questions when you decide to make the visa move. Yeah. All right. I'm just looking at my notes, see if I missed anything. Yeah. So Steve says, try and keep the food that the spiders and snakes away from the house, and that solves a lot of the problems. No, I agree with that a lot. And for Dana, we started having ants make their way inside around the window, and she just put peppermint oil around the window, and that solved that problem there. So we didn't have that anymore. We just had a branch fall while I was talking to you that hit, but just little things like that. So yeah. So any questions for me anymore? I never thought that I would say one of the best things that I love the most is just jumping on my motorbike and going to the different markets here. And sometimes I don't need anything. We don't need anything. I just like to go and walk through the markets and just feel the vibe of everything, especially the very local markets. We have a Friday night market here in our village, and Dorset has a market that's there permanently Monday through, 7 days a week. But they also have a Tuesday market and a Saturday market, I believe. But man, you want to talk about some positive energy, go to some of these local markets. They're just amazing. I like that. So Singh says, Dorset, the green heart of Chiang Mai, offering life in step with nature. And my video next Wednesday deals with that here in Dorset. Dorset is considered a green zone. And so it will not be industrialized. They got tight restrictions on the coming in and do that. And you will see it when you come through here. I really hope a lot of you end up being my neighbors here, And so, yeah. And Carl says window shopping, and also people shopping when you go to these markets and stuff like that. And I tell you what, even though you don't speak the language, those smiles say it all. And I've had some negative Nancy's, not just negative Nancy's, negative Nates, so men too. But they talk about, well, those smiles are fake, this and that, or whatnot. And I think they are what you make of them, and what you present from you is what makes it what it is. That's been my That's been my experience. Watch what you wish for. I'm still planning to move, but time flies. Time does fly. And I think when Steve and Alyssa, we talked to them on a regular basis, they were talking about coming over here. It was like over a year ago, and now we're 31 days away from it. And it happens fast. I'm 2 years in, and I can't believe 2 years have gone by this fast. And you're right, people do project their own insecurities. And there are people that wish you to not be happy because they're not happy. You know, those people are there too. So it is what it is, you know, but no one's going to steal my joy. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, Dana. Yeah. All right. I'm just checking for questions before I get back to it. Yeah, Marina, you're right. The markets, the energy there is pretty awesome. All right. All right. Hi, been watching since your first vid. Oh, glad you're settled in and feel you are at home. I'll be in Tagate for the foreseeable future. It's a little cooler in the mountains. Hey, thank you for dropping in. I appreciate that. And I apologize for the first video. And I say that kind of half joking because when you first start this YouTube thing, it's kind of cringeworthy when you put the first video out. But like they say, done is better than perfect. And I got it done. And thank you for being with me the whole way. The AFRICAD. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I tell you what, I have friends here now that are, to me, as close as family. And it's a wonderful feeling. And I think that's one of people's biggest fears, because you can isolate yourself. If you only want to live a Western lifestyle, you can come here and do that here. You can move into a Western community with all expats. You can go to all Western restaurants. And if that's your thing, that's fine. And you can do that here if that's what you want. But I want to go a little deeper. And I think Dana and I both are about to start taking Thai lessons seriously. Yeah. Alyssa, there's definitely worse people that Dana and I can be stuck with. We're looking forward to you guys being over here, and definitely your final move over here. That's going to be great. Yeah. The rain is starting to slow down now, so that's good too. Make sure I'm not missing anything because I wanted to cover some stuff. Yeah. Ooh. All right, myths versus reality. Ooh. I like some people here, you guys mentioned it also, that be careful, you know, Thai, that they don't like expats, this and that. I've watched videos where people said that you'll never be part of the community. And maybe that was their experience. So I don't take anything away from people's experience, but I feel very welcome here. And I think, like I said, you put in the work, then it's going to happen for you. So yeah. But the reality of it is, folks, it's not perfect here. There are things that you've done all your life in your Western country or wherever you're coming from, and it's going to be different here. But there's a blueprint here. Someone has done it before. I continue to learn from other people. So it's really that easy. Yeah. Yeah, so Dana's standing outside looking. The branch fell, and Michonne our dog jumped up and ran down there to see what was going on. And then she attacked the branch, and now the branch is dead. Yeah. Oh, Steve. Yeah, when the rain lets up, I'm gonna go check out that house. I kind of feel like I need to bring Ghostbusters with me too when I go check out that house. It's a nice looking house, but something going on there. Yeah. Oh, Roy. Oh, good point. Keisha works in the market with a sister in the market. It's hard work. She's lucky. She's with me and doesn't have to work so much. You know, Roy, I'm glad you brought that up, because here's another myth that I found, and it's a lot of people's reality. But to me, it's no different than if you were living in a Western country, and I'm talking about relationships. Because I hear this stuff, all the Thai women want is to find a person with money, to have someone take care of them. Let me tell you something. I personally know couples who they have a Thai spouse, and because they have a Thai spouse, it helps them, navigate being over here in Thailand. But also they've built businesses, you know. Um, Thai women, when you ride around and you see some Thai women are some of the hardest working women I have ever seen in my life, you know, and not just hard working when I'm talking about, the rice fields and that kind of labor. But when I went to CMU University, both of my dentists were female dentists. You know, I've run into lawyers over here. I have an interview coming up, I think Wednesday, real estate, where I talk to a female attorney here, and so this stuff about, anywhere you go, there are going to be people that look to use people. I think that's the exception, not the rule, maybe a small, but I met some of the most wonderful Thai women over here. And like anywhere else, I mean, there's going to be people that are not good, but it's easy for us to stereotype, and it's just not true. So just want to bring that up also. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Carl, Thai language lessons, I kind of kicked myself. I listened to Walkabout Wayne the other day, and he said the same thing. He said he's been here 6 years, no excuse. He should learn some of the language, But I used to use YouTube as my excuse for not learning the language. I think it boils down to fear. That's one of those fear of the unknown. But once I say it out loud, then I know I'll have to address it, and I will move on. Our friends Grace and Michael, I did an interview with them also. They are now writing in Thai, and speaking. They say it's on a second grade level, but nonetheless, I think that's great. So yeah. Let's see. I talked about the rainy season. So when I did the rainy season video, I mentioned this. I'm gonna bring it back up again. There is mood disorders associated with rainy season that really hits people hard. My wife is not the biggest fan of rainy season, but she reframes it because she knows it makes everything green, but it does impact your mood. And that's why for me, I get out on the motorbike and I go for a ride. Sometimes it rains, I just enjoy the rain. So it can be challenging the rainy season, but it's not impossible to deal with. Yeah. So Steve asked the question, Mr. DIY versus Home Pro. I think Home Pro is kind of like your everything store. Kind of like if you're from America, you may be familiar with Home Depot. That's kind of what Home Pro is. It has your furniture, it has tools, it has everything. Mr. DIY is smaller, but it is just what the name says, do it yourself. So, but anything from whatever you need for household goods, as far as ice trays, kitchen accessories, all that stuff is there. I'm gonna cover both of those. It's hard to really explain, but they're both stores you need to get to know, especially if you are a do-it-yourself person. Yeah. All right. I just reached back up to Alyssa's message, and they have been here since the beginning, and they said they'll be here always, and that's a good thing. It really is. Alyssa and my wife Dana, they've known each other since elementary school, and they reunite on Facebook. And I have my earplugs when we meet them at the airport. When they start schooling, I put my earplugs in. But I'm glad they're going to be able to reunite. So Tanya, that is a very good question. So Tanya asked, do you foresee yourself ever buying a home rather than renting? And what are the challenges of owning land? Question. Ooh, Tanya, I'm gonna give you a brief synopsis, and because I went and talked to a real estate attorney, and that video is coming up, but foreigners cannot own land. You're going to be renting the land, and they have different leases that you can rent the land, but you own the structure that you buy the house on. That's what you own, and you work out with the landowner how long that lease is going to happen, and that's a deterrent for a lot of people, but a lot of people will come over here and do it. So here's my take on it. I feel like I will come, that Dana and I, we talked about it. I would say in the next 3 years, if Chiang Mai is still our place, we will rent land, um, and we will probably build a house, and that would be our forever house. And when I say our forever house, hopefully we're healthy enough for the rest of our life that if we do need help, we'll be able to pay, a nurse's aide to come in or and help us out, someone to do the laundry, those kind of things. But we're really considering eventually, if things keep going the way they are, building a house here. There are challenges to it, but I'll put that video out there and you'll be able to see it. People are doing it. I always get that people are saying, "Oh, I would never buy a house in there. You never own the house, you never own the land." It's a mindset change. Because here's the thing: Dana and I, we've bought and we've sold 2 houses living in the United States. We did profit off of both of those houses. This next house is not about it being an investment. It's about waking up every day, looking at the mountains or looking at the rice fields or looking at both if we're lucky, and having a place where we can invite friends and family to come stay. And the attorney spells it out that you can even, in some instances, so if something was to happen to Dana and I, then maybe the remainder of that lease, one of our daughters would be able to stay there, or our son, or we can sell the structure to someone else and they can redo the lease. So there's options out there. Yeah. No, thank you for that question, Tony. That was a very good question. Have I ever run into any of the Chiang Mai, Thailand YouTubers? I have, and I'm going blank on one of their names, but Peter from Discover Thailand was the first one I ran into, and I did an interview on him. And unfortunately, a few months back, he had an accident. He was in the hospital for a while, and then he was released from the hospital. And he was going downstairs to get coffee, and he had a heart attack. And he had only been over here a little over a year, and he was, my age. He was I think he was 58. I'm 57. So Peter was the only one. I want to say, is it Chai? I forget another YouTuber here, but he's not just in Chiang Mai. He travels across Southeast Asia. He did an interview with me also. But I have yet to run into Walkabout Wayne and some of the others yet. Narrowgate, they moved to Albania, I think it is. So, yeah. We're looking forward to that, Alyssa. Yeah, that was so sad about Peter. Yeah. Yeah, Chai is good. He does good stuff, Marina, very much so. Yeah. Myths like the healthcare, and I've covered healthcare on my channel. For those of you who are kind of new here, I had an incident where I slipped on the concrete stairs and I broke my rib. I went to probably one of the most expensive hospitals, Chiang Mai Ram Hospital, very modern. They got me in right away. I think I was there maybe 10, 15, and they got me in right away. I was already registered there from before. I went and saw the doctor. The doctor did an examination, and he said, yeah, there's something going on there. I went and had x-rays done. I went and had lunch, came back, and he said, yep, number 7 rib is cracked. It's not a straight break, but it's going to be about 6 weeks to heal. He gave me pain meds and muscle relaxers, and my healthcare insurance only covers inpatient. And so that was, I want to say, 87 or 89 US dollars out of pocket that I paid for that. All tied up. Good morning. We just spoke about Peter, and we were at his celebration of life when his sister and brother-in-law came over, and we saw him off up in the mountains. So yeah, it's good to see you. All right. Wow. Any other questions for me? Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Alyssa. Yeah, out of pocket self-pay medical care versus, um, just basic going to the doctor or clinic there in a lot of the Western countries. It's crazy. Right now, if I was in the United States, I would still be working, not so much for the money, but just to have medical insurance. And the medical insurance I have, Pacific Cross, it only covers me, I want to say, for 2 weeks at a time in the United States, and only up to 35% because of how expensive the United States is. You know. So yeah. Oh yeah, the Lantern Festival. Have you been to the Lantern Festival in Chiang Mai? Is it worth it? It is worth it, and I'll give you a hint. If you're here during the Lantern Festival, Dorset Lakes is where everybody from the city come out here to videos where they went up to the temple and they had an aerial view of Dorset Lakes and a lantern's been released. It is definitely worth it. But let me tell you something else. It's free. So don't let somebody charge you 3,000 baht to watch the Lantern Festival, and you can do it yourself. If you're safe, if you feel comfortable riding a motorbike and you're here during that time, I suggest you take a motorbike and you just drive yourself down the Dorset Lakes. It'll be easy for you to park, and you'll be able to capture it all. I know, the sometimes the trips from, because it's high demand, renting a car to a driver to take you from the city out here can be expensive, and also you're gonna be backed up in traffic. So I would suggest that we have a lot of homestays out here in Dorset. So if that festival is coming up, I suggest you come out here to one of the homestays and stay where you're 5 minutes or 10 minutes away from the festival. Tracy, I started pickleball lessons back in April, competed in my first tournament last month, third place. Wow. All because of your interview with your pickleball friends. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're probably like I don't know, 3.0, 4.0 now. No, but the important thing is you're having fun. That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that with me. Hey, Sheila, you're never late as long as you're here. Yeah. Steve is going to be playing pickleball. He's bringing this pickleball paddle over here when he comes to play. And also, there's a lot of pickleball places in the city. I'm out here in Dorset. It's only 12 minutes away from me. And so if you make your way out here and you don't have a paddle, I think you can rent a paddle for like 20 baht. Yeah. So, all right. And make sure I haven't missed anything on my notes. So right now it is September still. So rainy season here. What about where you from? Is the weather impacting your daily life where you're at? I know Florida, well, the South is kind of hurricane season, but I haven't seen any big storms out there yet. But anywhere else up north or anywhere you're from, even another country, is it affecting you? Oh, Marina, I had a tooth pulled in Hua Hin, X-rays visit, meds, $41. That's amazing. And so I did the same thing when I was in Siem Reap. I had one of my caps come off, and I went to a clinic that was highly rated, 5 stars, like 86 reviews, and he cleaned it and fitted it, re-cleaned it, and then put it on there, sealed it with some laser instrument. That was 15 US dollars. So yeah. What is this rain you're talking about? That sounds like somebody that lives in dry Texas. Yeah, Trace, we can't wait to have you down here for pickleball as well. It's gonna be so much fun. I'll show you all the great coffee shops and restaurants. South Carolina, the weather has been hot. There's some hurricanes out there, Sheila. Well, I pray that you guys are safe, Sheila, because I know, living in Florida all my life, I know about those storms. As a first responders, I've slept on cots in the emergency management building and just, going out there in the weather. So, I remember those days. So please stay safe. Tanya, Pet Relocation. And Tanya, if you send me a message, because off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of them. If you send me a email at farawayfred2023@gmail.com, that's farawayfred. It's also in the description of my videos, farawayfred2023@gmail.com. I'll send the link. They did a really good job. The journey was that she went from Lake County, which is Central Florida, down to Miami. From Miami, she flew to Germany. And from Germany, she stayed overnight. They sent us videos of her in her doggy hotel, getting all cleaned up and everything. And then she flew from Bangkok. And from Bangkok, they did the 9-hour drive with her in a huge van, and they dropped off here. I was very happy with them. It's not cheap. I know there's cheaper options, but I highly recommend this company. I had 2 long interviews, video interviews with them before we went on. And, you know, actually, they brought her 2 weeks earlier because we missed her. And so there was an upcharge for that, but we have no complaints about the company. I'll send you that information. All right, Maryland, we had 3 days straight and refused to days. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the rain's hit a lot of places. Huh. Vietnam just had 2 typhoons go past there. So they've had some bad weather too over this way. Early fall here in Illinois. Sweater weather with some overly warm days in the 80s. That sounds like perfect weather. I know that doesn't last very long, right? That's one of the reasons why we really loved Cuenca, Ecuador, because it was 8,500 feet above sea level. And I think the highs were in the 70s, maybe low 80s. And then it gets into the 50s and 60s at night, and that was year round. And so that would have been perfect weather. Thank you, Steve. Pet Relocation International. Tanya, if you see that on there. Oh, all tied up. All my family's here with me at the moment. Okay. Crabby yesterday. Yeah, a lot of rain down at the beaches. 28 degrees. Wow. Well, let's definitely get together when you make your way back up here to Chiang Mai. I know we've been trying to grab coffee, but you are a rider. You're constantly on the road. So I look forward to getting with you. Let's see. If you don't like Chicago weather, just wait a minute. Wow, man. And when I talk about community, the people we meet, so I don't think he's going to make it on here this morning, but I got a friend named Raymond. You know, I talked about Robert. He was on here earlier, and we have coffee on Saturdays. Raymond and we have coffee on Fridays. I have coffee buddies. And so we spent 2 hours. I looked down, we started at 10 o'clock, and I looked down at my watch, and it's 12:10. And we've just been sitting there talking for 2 hours. Nobody rushes you out of places. Nobody comes and just throws your check on the table. You have to kind of get their attention if you want your check, which I think is great. I think a lot of the European cafes are like that too, where you can just sit for hours and talk and not feel rushed, you know. What's that? Chiang Mai Royal Breakfast, I think it was, in City Center. The owner is a great guy. He remembered me from the last time I did a video of that place there. He bought our coffees. He bought our coffees for us, our first round of coffees. So it's just so many great people here. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Tom has a channel all tied up. THAID. Check out his channel too. A lot of his stuff is cruising around. It definitely gives you a different perspective of the different places he goes, but it's nice to watch. So check that out as well. Yeah. Any other questions for me? I know people ask about my daily routine, and only the first part of my morning is routine. You know, I wake up in the morning. The first thing I do, even before coffee, is water. So I grab water, I drink water, I meditate, I stretch for about 15 minutes, I read, and I write, and then my dog is spoiled. So at about 6 o'clock, 6:15, we go for a car ride around the village so she can look at all the soy dogs. And then I stop somewhere and take her for a 20-minute walk or so. I come back home, and then I figure out if I'm going to film that day, if I'm going to edit that day, or if it's going to be date day for me and Dana, or if I have friends calling from the United States or other places that want to chat for a while. But I love having this time, folks. There's nothing like having your time to yourself. And some days I just make it up as I go once I finish my morning routine. Some days I read for 3 or 4 hours a day, and which was fine with me also. But I try to get exercise every day. Pickleball Tuesdays, Thursdays, and sometimes Sundays. And so I mentioned our group that meets every Sunday for coffee. Last night we had a group that met at the Palms restaurant. Just five of us, and we just enjoyed each other's company. So it's a good life over here. Yeah. All right. Any other questions for me? And folks, like I say, I try to check my email a couple times a day. The one I put out there, the one that's within the description. So if you have any questions after you get off of here, because we get to a certain age, we don't remember stuff until later on, guilty as charged. So please feel free. I mentioned before, I don't have all the answers, but I'm glad that you're on this journey with me. I'm still learning from people. I'm still making mistakes, but it won't get to the point where, I don't know, that I would just want to get up and leave. Now, I'm going to touch on a nerve for some people. I just want to say this out loud because I think it's very important, because I just talked to someone who has lived here for a couple of years, like myself. And folks, if you're going to be here, be here. You know, I know, especially if you're from the United States, there is a lot of stuff going on there. And I still have family there, you know, so I'm still concerned. But with that said, if you do not step out of that when you move over here, you're going to bring it with you, and you're going to miss so much of this joy that you could have over here. You know, I know I have friends who are empaths, and they feel the pain that they see a lot of people going through. And I do understand that. And I do not sell that short, but I just want you to be able to compartmentalize it so you can take full advantage of this, you know, retirement life that you can get over here. And I know what's going on in the news, but I think I see it through my peripheral vision. I see headlines. I don't take a deep dive into that, because I do believe what you consume consumes you. So I'm just careful with what I consume, and so I can fully enjoy this life. Yeah. Rob, LA cyclist. I've had lunch with Rob. Rob's been a subscriber for a while as well. We've had lunch, and I think Rob spends part of his time in LA and part of his time here, and just a good guy. Yeah. Yeah, let's just go and be friends. Honestly, it's the best feeling ever. Just let go of everything. Yep, Sheila. Sheila, you're excited? Scale of 1 to 10. How excited are you? Oh, Rob, a lot less. All right, 10. 10 years? Okay, that's going to fly by. That's the case. Tanya asks, do you process your own taxes, or does an agency prepare them for you? What can we expect to pay on average? Tanya, the only taxes I pay here is U.S. taxes. You know, I don't earn any income over here that I have to claim. And Thailand has I forget the name of the treaty, but it's no double taxation. My pension is taxed before it gets deposited into my bank account. I have a United States bank account and I transfer the money over here from there. So, so we just use TurboTax and we do our taxes that way still. Yeah. Hey, Patrick. So Patrick is debating early retirement and making my first month-long trip to Thailand in November. A month, and you're just picking one of the perfect months to come here also in November. I think you're going to enjoy it. You know, I found myself the first year kind of reflecting back, you know, because it's human nature when you make a big move like this. I was a lieutenant in my department. I was possibly going to be promoted to captain. And that crossed my mind a couple of times, but I looked at the big picture and I'm okay. I'm okay. You know, I've also had people who retired and 2 weeks later have a heart attack, or, you know, several months later, a major sickness like cancer or something that they're fighting. So I think I made the right move at the right time. Yeah, thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. Yeah. Hold on one second. Ugh. Come on, come on, come on. Ugh. So our dog is on anti-inflammatories because she has what the vet said is lameness, where she's not putting a lot of weight on that left leg. So sometimes I have to help her up the stairs or encourage her to come up the stairs. So, but I'm back. Yeah. That's another thing, folks. I'm telling you, when I left the United States with our dog, her annual physical, I want to say was $300, including the shots and everything. And I came over here and she got her shots, and that was $35 for her physical and her shots. So it's just, you save so much money. Same thing. So she's on Simparica Trio, and one of those pills for 1 month was $32 in the United States. I get 3 months supply for $30 over here. So a lot of little things you'll see that's a lot different. Same medicine, different price. Oh, Marina, I hope you landed on your feet with that. I can understand how that can be life-changing. But I'm glad you had that option of early retirement. All right, so Tom asks, what is the biggest thing you miss from your home country or state? Honestly, I think it's really just the people, you know. I think the relationships that I build there, I miss those people. There's some Southern food that I don't see over here, like collard greens, you know. But other than that, yeah, it's really just the people. Like I said in a couple videos ago, the ease of navigating it can kind of lull you into comfort. And I miss that, but I don't miss it, because I believe if you do hard things, then that makes life easy. And I've done some hard things over here, and it's made my life a little easier and a little more pleasant too, because I had to work at it. So, but yeah. And I miss college football that I don't have to watch at 3:30 in the morning. So the time difference kills me sometimes. Yeah. Well, Patrick, if there's anything I can do, you know, please let me know. But let me know when you get over here too. That's good, Marina. So honestly, that's really good. That worked out for you. Yeah. And I tell you what, sometimes hitting that reset button is the best thing that can happen to you, you know. And I'm hoping I can be an example for a lot of people, especially, people that work jobs that just kind of drain your soul. If you could break away from that early, you know, I mean, honestly, you think about how many years are we given here on this earth, you know, and then by the time some of us retire, how many good years do we have left? When I say good years, every year is a good year, but years to with our mobility intact, where we can travel to all the places that were on our bucket list, you know. Sometimes we get to our bucket list and we can barely pick it up. Yeah. All right. I look forward to hearing from you, Patrick. Yeah. Yeah, Sheila. Some of those jobs are indeed dead end jobs. It's like being on that treadmill, with that carrot sticking in front of you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Carl. That was one of the things too. We were considering leaving our dog with a friend of ours who also worked at the sheriff's office, and she had a big property, and she loved Michonne. And I think we got here and we're like, no, we can't do that. Almost like having our daughter. So we're able to bring her over, and she's having her best life here also. Yeah. Yep, I've had friends on government contracts, and it can be soul crushing. You're absolutely right. Alyssa, I agree 100%. Life is not about how many breaths we take, but the moments that take our breath away. And I have had a lot of those. Yeah. Health span, you're absolutely right. Jeanette, my job and I are due for a bust up. We need to see other people. Yeah. Um, I don't, and like I said, guys, I am not a I hate the United States, basher or anything like that. That's just not part of my makeup. Um, but once you know that there's a better way to live, it's hard to see yourself going back. At least for me, I speak for me. Um, as far as me ever moving back, I know they say never, but like the great Taylor Swift says, we are never, ever, ever getting back together. So yeah. So, but so Rob asked about the rainy season compared to this year's rainy season to last year's. Rob, I think this year rainy season it's rained longer during the day. Last year it would come and go. 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there, an hour here. We've had extended rains this rainy season. So yeah. I tell you, that conversation between you two down there about forced to resign a job. Um, I tell you, my last 8 years, part of my job was in professional standards, where internal affairs, and I watched so many people their careers come to an end for behavior, whatever case may happen, and that's hard to see. Or even people in the middle of their career, a medical issue or something happens. But if you could ever be in a position where you control your own destiny when it comes to, or are able to bounce back and just move forward and find you a place where you fit in, there's no greater feeling, you know. Oh, Marina, yeah. Yeah, a lot of the older dogs, and that's one of those things, if you talk to a pet relocation person, they'll be able to tell you that kind of stuff too, you know, as well. I'm reading Jeanette's. Yeah, it is absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna just try to take you for a second. So as far as the grass goes, the landlord takes care of the grass, takes care of everything. Yeah, we have anything, whenever my gas canister runs out, I just calls him up. I call him. It's been once. The one we had lasted 1 year. October of last year, we had it out. So yeah. Hey, Tiny, thank you for those kind words. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Was I buffering a little bit? How about now? I think it was because I was moving it around. Is that better? Okay, thank you. All right. So I don't know if you caught that, but yeah, the landlord takes care of all the grass. And I have a neighbor that lives next to me, and then he's almost finished with a third house, but you're not on top of each other. And he'll be renting that out soon too. So yeah. All right. I'm glad I'm back. So let's see. Any other questions before we wrap it up? Yeah, 808. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. 808 Mel's. What do you miss most about the US? Honestly, and like I mentioned earlier, really just friends and family. And there's certain things time zone wise that I miss. You know, last Saturday I watched uh, my Florida Gators lose, and I had to watch that game at 6:30 in the morning. Sometimes it's 3:30 in the morning. You know that because it's 3:30 in the afternoon back in Eastern time. So I kind of miss the different time, the time difference, the time zones makes things a little tough. But people and family, friends and family, really, that's pretty much it. Everything else I have over here, doing pretty good. What do you miss most about Thailand when you're in the US? The people? No. I miss, there's a vibe here, and especially here in Chiang Mai and Dorset Cat that I miss, that I can't even explain. But there's a calmness. Um, you know, I found myself kind of going on high alert again when I was in the US, just being hyper vigilant of my surroundings. I like being here where my soul can rest. And so I missed that a little bit when I was back in the USA. Yeah, I know, Carl. The sports watching people say, well, you can tape it. I'm like, no, I can't just tape it and watch it later. So, but you know, when you're retired, you wake up at 3:30, you watch the game and do some stuff and come back and take a nap. That's what retirement's about. Yeah, Rob, you're right. There's a vibe here, the friendliness of the culture and the food. Now, I'm gonna tell you, folks, remember I said this to you. If you're a fan of Thai food where you live at in the States or wherever, you have not tasted Thai food till you come to Thailand. For the most part, you're probably tasting American Thai food. But when you get here and get hold of some real Thai food, yeah, your life changes. Steve, Australian rules football is easy to watch. You're right. You're right about that. There are some places in town that it's on all day long. So that part is easy. You're right. I would have been better off missing the game. But I had to go for a long walk after that game right there. Yes, I did. Mm. Right now, LNN, yeah, I'm late to it, but is it easy to find rental properties with separate guest houses in Chiang Mai? Right now, as I speak on September 20th over here, it is. Um, if you go back and watch my video that I did the 2 rental houses on there, there's a lady named Alice. My daughter says hi. My wife is on the phone with our daughter.
She didn't get the message that you were going live either, so we'll have to troubleshoot that later.
That's okay. All right.
Isn't he cute?
So sorry. So, but yeah, so Alice, who does rentals and sales over here, she would be more than happy to help you find something. I had a friend, single guy from Australia, and he moved over here. He did not want to do the condo thing. And so he was able to find a standalone 1-bedroom house for 10,000 baht. So, yeah. Tanya, we look forward to meeting you as well and having coffee. And folks, people come over here unless my schedule is so messed up that I'm busy that day, or I always try to make time to meet subscribers and viewers, and a lot of them have become friends that I still stay in touch with on WhatsApp or Line. So please, if you're over this way, you give me the heads up if I'm available. If you're going to be here for a week or 10 days, I'll find a day to have coffee, lunch with you. You know, I like meeting people. I said in one of my videos that I believe my purpose was, when I was a cop, was to help people. And I still think that is my purpose in retirement. So I want to be here for you, and I get to meet you. It's another story I can tell about just the people we meet. Yeah. Oh, okay, Robert, that makes sense then. Australia's only 3-hour difference. Why was I thinking 9 hours? I was thinking of something else. Okay. Well, congratulations, LNN. Congratulations. And I pray that the market is right for you to sell your house and get over here. But yeah, there's so many, and there's some Facebook. If you look at Chiang Mai rentals on Facebook, there's Chiang Mai rentals between 8,000 and 18,000 baht. There's so many different, there's Chiang Mai rentals under 10,000 baht. I belong to like 3 or 4 different groups. So there's these groups on Facebook you can find and find your place. Oh, so yeah, I am feeling better. So when I went to CMU, they did find pressure on the bike molar, and they did a deep clean there and was able to remove the pressure off the gum that was affecting the sinus nerve up there. I felt better, but they were concerned about what looked like a root that was going up and touching the sinus cavity. Well, I did go see a specialist, and they asked me, was I in pain? I'm no longer in pain. He said, just monitor it because it may be just a shadow and not an actual, the nerve. So he's not sure. So, but thank you for asking. I'm feeling much better. And I even celebrated in my other video at Clucks, where I went and had Nashville chicken sandwich. So yeah. All right, Christina. Hi, Fred. We will definitely look you up when you come this year. Okay, yeah, please rewatch it and please share it. I got some other people say they didn't get the message, so I do apologize there. But this will be able to, you will be able to rewatch this, and hopefully to have chapters. And but thank you. I am going to make this a monthly thing. It may be more. There's a lot I'm going to do with the channel moving forward. And like this week coming up, I'm still going to do a video for Sunday. So there will be a Sunday video released. And then there will also be a Wednesday video released. And so if I have something about real estate to talk about, I'll end up releasing a video on Wednesday, Real Estate Wednesdays. And then who knows, I was really afraid of jumping on YouTube. And then I know a lot of creators want to get the 5,000 subscribers. Is it 5,000 subscribers, 1,000 watch hours, or vice versa? And they do 3, 4 a week. I want to do this. I want to help, but I want to eat up all of my time. So I'm trying to find balance still with all of this. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Alyssa. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right. And folks, if there's something you want me to cover, you have any questions, I try to get back to you as soon as I can. Just email me. All right, Tom. Look forward to catching up with you. Enjoy your time with your family. Yeah, but you know what? I've seen people, volunteer. Carl says all of your time, that's what you got now. I do, but I've seen people lose their time too. I've had people ask me to join boards over here and do this and that, but this is my most valuable commodity I have right now is my time. So I try to be a good steward of my time. Yeah. Yeah, Christine, I do look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Yeah. And that's one thing I have to be careful of, folks. And I think I'll wrap it up with this right here. You know, be careful because really if you're on a DTV visa or if you're on a retirement visa, you're not supposed to work over here, nor are you supposed to volunteer. So that's something you need to be careful of. Yeah. I know, 95 minutes strong. All right. Well, Robert is waiting for me. I'm going to meet Robert for coffee, and we're going to chat a little bit. Folks, thank you for your time. You know, wherever you are, if it's probably evening somewhere for you, and you took time to sit here and sit on this call, I do not take anyone's time for granted. So the fact that you decided to spend your time here with me this morning or this evening, I greatly appreciate it. All right. Let me see. Oh, LNN, my family watch your videos faithfully. Looking forward to meeting you and your wife. We're looking forward to it. Thank you. And once again, thank you, Steve, for helping me do this. Sing. Have a nice day as well. I will see you tomorrow morning at pickleball. Thanks, Patrick. You have a great one as well. Look forward to hearing from you. I will call the live a success. You got to actually see me this time. Last time we had no video, so this is good. Hopefully, the next one will be even more sunny day where you don't have that. You see more of me and not just the. Maybe it's a good thing you're not seeing more of me. I don't know. But thank you again, Tanya. Look forward to meeting you. You too. Having coffee. Marina. Good talking to you. And thank you to all this. I really feel like we're really building a community here. And it's just going to grow, you know. So thank you so much. And I will see you on Sunday. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.